Hari Om. Good evening. A warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's offer our divine prayers together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana bhavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vedvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, who also has the divine names Varadaha and Vayuvahanaha, to such a magnificent Lord, together with Shraddha, Bhakti, Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations to seek His grace, His mercy, His love, His blessings, His compassion, His strength, His forgiveness. O Lord, please bless us with the divine qualities Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, Mumukshutvam, and bless us that we have the first-hand divine experience within our own selves, aparoksha anubhuti, and at the end of our lives we reach thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Today, with the grace of God and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 332. On the 17th of May 2023, Shobhanakrit Nama Samvatsara Uttarayana Vasantarutu Vaishakamasa Krishna Paksha Trayodashi Revati Nakshatra Ayushman Yoge Vanijakarane. On this auspicious day of Pradosham 2, together we all take a vow that, O Lord, Naham Karta Hari Karta Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartha. I don't do anything. Lord Hari does everything. It's all at the instance of Lord Hari, and it's all for the love and affection of Lord Hari. So whatever is happening in my life, through circumstances, through situations, through incidents, through occasions, maybe it is through persons, place, or an object, I firmly believe, O Lord, that it is your play, your krupa, that all this is happening to me. It is beyond my reach and understanding, but I humbly accept everything with the prasada buddhi. And I know that all that is coming is only to uplift me, give me the right degree of compassion and dispassion to reach thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara. Hari Om everybody. Good evening. A warm welcome to all of you once again. Now, last class we understood about verse 26. There we were able to understand two yagnas basically. I'll just give you a recap of what those two yagnas are in brief, and then I think today we have quite an interesting task of learning about 7 yagnas. Let's see how much we could cover out of them. But what is interesting here is the Lord declares anybody for that matter, be a gruhasta, a brahmachari, a sannyasi, the one who is observing these yagnas, he can be called as an yati, a monk. Otherwise, we generally think a monk means somebody who is a sannyasi only, who is in orange robes. He says no, the robes, anybody can wear any kind of robes. But what is important is, what is the mindset of that person? You may be a sinner of the highest version, but if you have made a resolve to change your way of life and reach the Lord, then as he called him as a yogi there, now here he calls him as a yati, a monk. So now let's understand how he is taking us towards these yagnas. And what are these yagnas? Is it something that we can do, or it is beyond our reach? Now this question comes to us, but I can tell you that we are almost doing everything, and we really need not do anything great. Only thing what we need to do is we need to be firmly there in this particular task. We should not try to deviate ourselves, go here and there, and again, you get into a stage where you lose your way. That should not happen. So we need just to take care of that. Okay, now we'll go to verse 26. Okay, now what was that verse talking about? Sarvendriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyama yogagnau juhvati jnana deepike. This is the we are looking at the verse 26. One second. श्रोत्रादीन इंद्रियाण्य अन्ये संयममाग्निषु जुह्वति शब्दादीन विषयान्यन्ये indriyagnishu juhvati. Now here he is talking basically about the 5 senses initially. If you see, that is what he is targeting over here. Shrotradini indriyani anye samyamagnishu juhvati means there is one yajna in the first line and there is another yajna in the second line. Now see how each and every aspect. See, what is life about? Life is about only perceptions, right from the time we get up. 3 states: waking, dream, and the deep sleep. Okay. Now let's say we went to sleep, and then we are in the world of senses, in dreams. Okay, that is one state. Now leave that apart because it's not a waking state. And then you get into a deep sleep state. That also is not a waking state. So leave that apart as well. This, no sooner we get up, then our whole waking world, which brings you under the grip of karma, or which traps you under the grip of karma, which eventually traps you into the bondage of life and death. So now our main task is, we don't have any papa or punya in a dream state and a deep sleep state. Only papa and punya are in the waking state. And the knowledge of ignorance, that I am ignorant, that only is possible in a waking state. So to drive away ignorance and bring in knowledge, you have to be in a waking state. So now waking state is nothing but a state of experiencing the perceptions. This is very clear. So what he says is, he says in the first yajna, we all are driven towards using our senses. So he says that drive what you have towards using your senses, suddenly, what is the meaning of using your senses? Your eyes suddenly want to see something. Okay, something divine, good, acceptable. But I'm talking of what is not divine, what is not good. It wants to see that. And there you exercise control. That sense control, he says, you make it as the fire. In that kunda, now it's Agni Kunda. Now the whole process of yajna means where there is Agni Kund, and in that there is fire, and in that there is Havis, which is the offering. Okay, so he says make that sense control, what you have controlled. You want to hear to something. Somebody is telling you nice gossip about someone else. It's really, you want to listen. But then you say, why should I get into this? And you move away from there. So that is a sense control. So that fire of sense control, he says, offer your senses as havis. The control is the fire and the senses are the havis. So next, now having said this, now what he does is, he in the second line, he says, okay, this is one aspect. Using the power of your control, you offered the senses. I wanted to eat, I didn't eat. I wanted to listen to something, some gossip, I didn't listen. You came out of that. Now he says, okay, every situation can't be the same way. Now there is a situation where you are using your senses. Everywhere it is not sense control. Senses are supposed to be used. He says now in the second line, what he talks about is, the second line is, Shabdadin Vishyan Anye Indriyagnisho Jukhvati. There he says, make your senses as the fire. In the previous line it was, senses was the havis. Now he says, make your senses as fire, and whatever sense perception you have, make it as a havis. Now let's say we are doing a yagna or a home. You will be offering all lovely things, isn't it, in that? Nice warm sticks you will offer, which are of a precise quality. Then you will offer some dhoop, you will offer fruits, all which are worth offering, you will offer as a havis. So he says, now when you have made your senses as perception, your eye is a sense now, sense organ. Now that has become the fire. Offer that with these eyes I am going to see divine things. I am going to see the lovely creation of the Lord, the divine form of the Lord in this creation. In each and every body I will see this divine form. So your eyesight which is seeing anything that it's seeing, imagine now if you are able to get these declarations and start practicing, what amount of worship yagna you are doing, what level. That is what the Lord is saying, you can become a yati. So everything you see with that divine vision. And whatever you hear, taking the previous first line, is saying you have brought in that sense control. Now from there, having controlled yourself, you move one step forward and you said, I am going to, with the same sense control, I am going to now listen to only divine words. It could be a mantra, it could be a stotra, it could be a bhajan, it could be a kirtan, it could be the divine glory of the Lord in terms of a discourse, pravachan. I am going to listen, and that entire course of listening is a great havan. In this sense organ which the Lord has given me of hearing and seeing, 1.5 hours I am doing a havan, offering everything divine into these sense organs. And if at all I have to eat something, make the mouth, that sense organ, as the fire. And what are you going to offer in that? Anything which comes to you, treat it as a prasad, Bhagavat prasad. This is nothing but it has been given by the Lord for me to consume. Imagine. So this knowledge, you are driving away the ignorance, and you are making your eyes and nose, whatever you are smelling with the nose. It could be of a tulsi or a shrigandha or a flower, anything even you smell in the kitchen. It is all going to be now the Bhagavat prasad. So this way, now using the senses continuously. Now imagine, till now we were studying, we were listening to discourses, but today's concept changes of how to listen to a discourse. I am here going to do a havan for 1.5 hours. What is the Agni Kunda here in front of me? My eyes and my ears, they become the Agni Kunda over here. In that Agni Kunda fire of my eyes and ears, the divine words that come to me become the Havis. See? That's all he says. Change your perception and change your destination. Your destination was to go to another life. Now the Lord says, by changing your perception, you are changing the course of your life to reach the heavenly abode of the Lord. So this way he is preparing us now. Now let's move to the next verse 27. I'll post the shlok for you. We'll read it and then we'll go ahead. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sarvanindriya Karmani Prana Karmani Chapare Atma Samyama Yogagnau Juhvate Jnana Deepite. Now here now Lord Krishna, after having given us the right perception of how we are going to use the five senses, the do's, first the don'ts and then the do's. Okay, now he extends the periphery, the territory, the boundary of, we don't have five senses. Other than five sense organs, we have the five organs of action. What are the organs of action? The hands, the legs, the tongue, the anus, and the organs of procreation. These are five. Okay, so now he says, bring also these under the same concept of what I told you. So he says, may take this also into the list. And then not only that, he then moves towards prana. The five pranas, what we have got: prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Now what these pranas do? Our breath. Every moment we take a breath. And if you want to lift something, the strength you get to lift something comes from the prana shakti. See, when you are sick and tired, even to walk to the washroom becomes a task, isn't it? So that strength comes from the prana shakti. And at the same time, not only to lift the stamina to run, to work all day. Sometimes, let's say you have a wedding in the family, it is your brother's, sister's, or your children's wedding, your friend's wedding. Now the whole day you're working continuously, that prana shakti. And the power to procreate, the keenness, the zeal to procreate, that is the vriddhi, what you want to bring in the santati, So that procreation power comes from prana. Whatever you keep eating from time to time, the hunger comes from prana. The digestion happens through prana. The excretion happens through prana. Your thirst comes from prana. Then apart from that, you're sneezing, you're coughing, and somebody tells something good to you, there are tears in your eyes of joy. That comes from prana. If somebody tells something not so desirable, that also brings tears in your eyes. That is due to prana. So all this, your blood flow, your heart beating, your pulse beating, everything is from the prana. Now what he says is, offer all this into the Homa Kunda, Yajna Kunda, Atma Samyama. Offer it. Saying what? Now I am breathing. Oh Lord, this breath. I'm offering in the sense control of prana. Do you see how many reasons why I told in so much detail of all this is? Now okay, this is about the pranas I told. Okay, let's take what do you do with your hands? Anything with you do with your hands, that is a sense organ of action. Okay, now that organ of action, whatever you do with becomes a yajna. Only the thought you need to have. You raise a hand to somebody saying hello, you used your hand. So if you have the thought, you have done a yajna. You walk up to a place. Now I am using my organ of action to go to a particular place, and this is a yajna. You're talking, that becomes a yajna. And you have to excrete. Now that also the Lord says is an yajna. And even procreation also is a yajna. See, can you see the up to what level? What the Lord is telling us? Nothing is to be taken low or high, as far as it is in the process of spirituality. If there is a spiritual background, everything is Lord and Lord alone. So this way he says, offer. And what? By the restraint of oneself, Atma Samyama. Do every act as prescribed for God. Now the doctor prescribes a prescription to you. What is that prescription for? For your improvement. You have gone with a stomach ache, he gives you a prescription for eradicating the stomach ache. If you go with a pain in your arm, he gives you a prescription for removing the pain in your arm. So you say that every act I am doing in life is a prescription for attaining God. I talk, prescription to attain God. What am I doing? Yajna. I sneeze, yajna. I breathe in, I breathe out, yajna. I see something, yajna. I hear something, yajna. I eat, yajna. What more you want? Every act becomes divinized. You got it? Yajnam yajnena juhvati. For that, affection of the Lord. Because unless and until we gain that affection, there is no meaning to life. So when this, behind every act we get this Bhagavad Puja, I am doing it towards the love, affection and worship of the Lord. That vision, that drishti when we get, so this Atma Nigraha, we have made a resolve, that we have made a prescription, we have made understanding, then everything becomes yajna. And remember, this should not be done for some kind of a show off or kind of a stunt and all that. You have to do it with Jnana Dipite. Jnana Dipite means with that knowledge, that's it. You don't have to swing your hands and make that tamasha, this, that. No, just that knowledge, that with that supreme power in me, who is dwelling in me, now everything is happening. And for whom it is happening? It is happening for that Lord and Lord alone, who is reflecting in me and who is the reason for this whole body which is functional. If you carefully observe this instruction of Lord Krishna, and if we mindfully practice, as we said, I gave you one instance of this 1.5 hour. Now everybody's 1.5 hour has become a yajna. Any time you listen to this or any other divine thing in your life, or let's say about this only, to give you a precise activity of our life. So once in a week we have done a yajna, and if on a daily basis you are listening to some other discourse, now that is also divine. So that also becomes a yajna. Now it frees you from the act of kartrutva. You are completely immersed in that thought flow of consciousness, because now you know what is consciousness, you know what is action, you know how the whole thing is happening. So if practiced in the right sense, this actually becomes a state of awakened samadhi. Samyak adhiyate iti samadhi. Samyak adhiyate means well placed, well, samyak. Adhiyate means placed. So samyak adhiyate, well placed. What have you well placed? Your mind. It is not in a state of ignorance. Now it is in a state of absolute knowledge. And then your feeling is yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadayaha. Yatra yatra mano yati. Wherever the mind goes, tatra tatra, there and there my mind is placed only on that thought of the Lord and Lord alone. So this way a true sadhak understands that all the perceptions which are done, perceptions, actions are which are done by the senses, the karmendriyas, the organs of action, the pranas, he gets that feeling. It is all nothing but a yajna is happening. And who is the doer? Now let's address that. I. My God, this I comes everywhere. So let's understand a little bit of this I today. See, when we all go to sleep, this I also goes to sleep. Okay? I'll bring you to that point of distinguishing what this exact I is. There are two I's in us. One is the capital I and there is a small I. Or one is, I can say, a true I and there is a false I. Now what we are worried about is the false I, the small I, which is I, the ego, me, mine. Now that is the root cause of this samsara. Because anything done with this I, it either gives you papa or it gives you punya. Good action gives you punya, and bad action gives you papa. So now what happens? Papa and punya, which are gone, keep accumulating. Now whatever you need to get the result of that portion of papa and punya in this life comes to you in this life. But there is already so much which is already set for you to come in place, and now that also keeps following from your past sanchita karma. We'll be learning a lot about this sanchita, prarabdha and agami in due course, nothing to worry. So this way, this I is the only crucial factor. Now how do we understand that anything done with this I gives you papa and punya? In the waking state, all your actions are recorded and they give you papa and punya. But the same I, when you are in your dream state, in your dream state you may murder somebody, you may talk ill of somebody, you may kill a cow, you may kill a Brahmin, you may do one of worst things, but that act will not give you papa. In the same way, you must have done a most benevolent act, but that will not give you punya also, because your I has gone to sleep. I is not there. So same way happens in the deep sleep. There also the I is not there. If you see, I is not experienced in deep sleep at all. If you somebody asks you, are you in deep sleep? And if you say, yes, I am in deep sleep, meaning you are awake. You don't know that you are in deep sleep. Only thing what we come to know after getting up from a state of deep sleep is that I slept well. Now from where did this come? This, if a sadhak asks himself, a question. Am I that I which I am experiencing right now, or I am that witness which was witnessing all the three states? In the waking also this I is being witnessed. In the dream also the I was witnessed. And in the deep sleep also that I was witnessed. Now make a distinction for yourself. This I, which is in the waking state, which is the reason for all this drama of your life, that is a false I. That is the small I. That is the temporary I. But the permanent I is that which is witnessing everything in your waking state. Even this I also, where if you boast something, somebody else knows, oh, he boasted himself. You will come to know, no, yes, I am boasting here, or I am putting somebody down, or I am doing something wrong. So even this I is observed by a witness. That is that Sakshi, that is that Atman. So this I, which you experience in the waking state, is a false I. And the one who is seeing this I is the permanent, the true, and the supreme I. What is the meaning of this I? If this I which has gone to sleep, it was in the waking state. If it has gone to sleep and if it doesn't get up, imagine what is the state. Ram Nam Satya Hai. People will lift you. And you don't have to, you are not in a position to do even your last Kriya Karma also. Somebody else will be doing for you the Kriya Karma. That is the value of this I. Please understand. Which we are thinking that we are that. You understand? So, just like, you see the sun from another planet. You see the sun from the earth, let us say. You look in the morning on the east, you will see sunrise, and then you see on the west in the evening, you will see sunset. And you say daily the sun comes from the east, it goes to the west and sets over there. But if the same sun, you go to another planet and you observe the sun, then the sun neither rises nor it sets. As that sun is to this Prakriti, this Mother Earth, in the same way this Atma, that enlivening factor, is to this body, mind and consciousness. So if you want that sun-like factor in you, you have to transcend the body, mind, senses. Now you are seeing the sunrise and the sunset because you are in the body, mind, senses complex. You have become one with that. No, get out of the planet Earth, and there you see that there is no sunrise, there is no sunset. Na udeti, na astamiti iti. There is neither a sunrise nor there is a sunset. Yata prakashayat ekah kritsnam loka imam ravihi kshetram kshetri tata kritsnam prakashayati tat param. So that will become the state where there is no sunrise, there is no sunset. It is that one and one consciousness alone. It is only that because we are being inside us and seeing, we are trapped in this rise and set. Come out of that, which means come out of your mind, and when you see your own self, then you transcend to that permanent I. This is what Lord Krishna teaches us over here. So how can we do that? You have to constantly, when you are doing this Yagnas, what is happening? You are not the doer. Everything is being offered not for my sake. Now whatever I am doing, I was thinking, I am eating. For whom? My sake. You want to be that Ram Nama Satya Hai I, or you want to be that permanent I which has got no death or decay. This is the only call which we are taking. Because that I which goes to the grave, comes back again being born. And but that I which was only witnessing the going and the coming is that true I, which is liberation. So now we got a great trick. So I gave you one example of this discourse. Take the example of you eating a meal. You're eating a sumptuous meal, okay? Nice breakfast has been prepared, a nice lunch has been prepared, and don't eat with that feeling of I am eating, I am enjoying, I am relishing. No. Now this is a yajna I am offering. Whatever I am eating is offered into the senses of the mouth. The mouth becomes the fire and the food becomes the havis. So what does Lord Krishna say? Any act which is done by your sense organs of perception. Now we also know what are all this, and even the 5 pranas. Now all these become yajna provided you log in. Now let's say you're transferring money to your account, you're depositing money from some other account, you're transferring. Now if you wrongly type in an account number, or if you wrongly deposit it, you don't write a number, let's say the money went somewhere else, you have wrongly written something. So now a wrong understanding is binding us with this papa and punya. Now with the right understanding, what we have done, we are converting every action into a yajna, where you are dissolving your I. You are neither looking for papa nor punya. That is the beauty of this whole understanding. Now let's move to the next yajna, verse number 28. So here 28, we'll see how much we could cover today, and then the rest we can do in the next class. I'll just post the shlok. Shloka 28. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Dravya Yagnas Tapo Yagna Yoga Yagnas Tatha Pare Swadhyaya Jnana Yagnascha Yataya Samshita Vrataha. Here he makes that statement. Yatayaha. Yataya means that yati. See how beautifully he terms that. The one who is able to do all these yajnas, he becomes a yati. Beautifully said. So now let's get a detailed meaning of this. What does the Lord want to convey to us over here? Now, prior to this, I would like to give you, we already discussed yataha, yati, okay? A yati means where Lord Krishna is talking about this yagnas over here, okay? Which is for the sadhaks, the spiritual sadhaks. Now he's talking of all these yagnas, in which we are going to talk about 6 yagnas over here. Now, for ordinary gruhastas, I wouldn't say ordinary, we would say for typical gruhastas, there are 5 yagnas, as we all know: Pitru yagna, Deva yagna, Bhuta yagna, Rishi yagna, and Manushya yagna. As we know, these 5 are there. Why these 5 are there? Because we are, if you want to be something more than an animal, otherwise we all are animals only. If you don't inculcate these 5 yajnas as grahastas, then you are an animal. Because what is the difference? Ahara nidra bhaya maitunancha samanam etat pashubir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubis samanaha. So meaning the translation goes as eating, sleeping, having sex and defending yourself. All these 4 principles are common between human beings and animals. But the only distinction comes between a human and animal. What is that line of distinction? It is dharma. Dharma means right principles. Now, who have this? Humans have the ability to inquire. Like for example, we as humans have, who am I? Who is God? What is this kind of world? Why am I suffering? Animals don't have this capacity. So the Lord says, I have bestowed this unique capacity to the humans. And now humans, what they are doing? Although I have bestowed this capacity, they are not using this. What are they doing? They are doing the normal things. Ahara nidra bhaya maitunancha. That's all. So, the primary dharma, if you have to be elevated from an animal, is you should do Pitru Yagna. Pitru Yagna means on the Shraddha and important days, you need to offer your oblations to the Pitrus. Deva Yagna is where from time to time all the Devatas, Agni Devata, Varuna Devata, Vayu Devata, they're giving us all this. Anna Devata, you have to keep offering your oblations to them. Bhuta, various other organisms in existence, look at them with compassion. Rishi Yagna, now the sages who have given all this knowledge to us, offer your yagnas to your sages, or your gratitude and oblations to the sages. Manushya Yagna, to your fellow men. Have that sense of compassion, gratitude and respect. So these are the 5 yajnas given. Okay. Now, for advanced sadhaks, in humans, after having been following all these 5 yajnas, now there is another stage where sadhak, he elevates himself. How? He is following dharma. And what does he do with following dharma? He is asking, who is Ishvara, who is Jiva, who is Jagat? Jiva Jagat Ishwar. What is this? What is the purpose of my life? How I can reach that divine power? Now, when this journey starts, when these questions start disturbing a human mind, he becomes a sadhak. And for that sadhak, now the Lord gives these 5 important yajnas. Dravya Yajna. The first Yajna, he says, Dravya. Normally when we talk about Dravya, we think it is money. It is not just money. Dravya means material. Of course, money is also material. But many other things which are there. You can have grains, you can have clothes, you can have land, you can have gold, you can have silver, you can have currency, all this, everything. It could be money. You do a home, you need so many materials. Worship of a devata by way of an abhisheka, that needs material. You do an aradhana, you do a puja, mantra japa, all this, he says, becomes under a dravya yajna. Now why this is important is because there is a physical form which is given to a worship. You worship God with a physical form. As we all have a physical form, isn't it? God too has a physical form. Why? Because as we have a physical form and we can only relate to the Lord in this physical form. We can't relate otherwise. So mind needs some kind of a substratum to hold on, to understand, to relate, to love or to hate, to emphasize. Anything and everything you want in life, you need to have a substratum. So because we have a physical form given to our Lord, we are able to relate better. So this materialistic form, anything in material, even like when you worship a Lord, if it was not materialistic, then we had a problem. We would not have been able to reach this stage, because it starts from that basic puja where you have the physical form of the Lord. Then you do abhisheka. You then wipe it with a cloth. Then you apply tilak. Then you have a dhupa. Then you have pushpa alankara. Then you have deepa, naivedya, gantanada. See all this, all your five senses are getting activated. So this is the materialistic dravya yagna. Anything which you do with the material becomes a yajna. That is what is the bottom line of this teaching. Anything you do with the material. Now once a sadhu asks a Swamiji, basically he is asked by a devotee, what is this Swamiji you are talking about our Brahman as avyakta, nirvikari, nirguna, nirmala? You talk about all this, and now we give a form over here, we do puja, archana, abhisheka. What is this? So this Swami, he listened to all this. See, some people have suddenly, they have learnt something, and then they are too much in a hurry. They can't wait. He said, you said this, but you are doing this. Why? There is a step-by-step procedure. Now that devotee doesn't have that patience or inclination to wait. He asked this question. Now Swamiji was doing something, so he said, wait, I'll get back to you, let me finish this work. And then in the meantime, this Swamiji said, I'm hungry, it's lunchtime already, I'm going to have my lunch, would you like to come and join me if you're hungry? He also says, I've made some rice, I've made some vegetables and dal and whatever menu is there, a simple menu, he tells him. Now this devotee is also hungry, and he says, yes Swamiji, yes, I would definitely love to have a lunch with you. And now they both go. The Swamiji, he has his plate over there. He first serves the food into his plate, and then he comes to this devotee and he tells him, now I want to serve this rice. And he serves it on the ground, and he says, I'm serving this vegetable. He is almost serving it on the ground. The devotee says, Swamiji, give me a plate or a leaf. What is this? Why are you serving on the ground? Then the Swamiji tells the devotee, you are hungry, right? Okay, where is hunger? Your stomach. And I'm giving you food. So now if you offer this food to your stomach, your hunger is gone. Why do you need a plate in between? But he says, Swamiji, I have to hold it, to hold something I need. How will I otherwise take it from you and transfer it to my stomach? I need something to hold. So then the Swamiji said, that's exactly. As your stomach cannot directly take from my bucket, it needs something to hold. In the same way, your mind cannot take that avyakta. Avyakta is that nirvikari, that which is not visible. It cannot take it. It needs something to hold. And just like that plate which holds the food, this form of the Lord, it holds the form of the Lord for you. This holds the form of this avyakta, nirvikari Lord. It makes him into Vyakta. So this is the reason why we have this Vyakta material. So now what happens is, once when somebody starts seeing this in this world, so everything can be related to this story which just now I gave you, where there is a substratum, a material. This avyakta Paramatma, invisible Paramatma, who is like a force, like a strength. You can call it a Shakti. I'll give another example. Let's say I say there is electricity in this house. You'll say, show me electricity. Where is it? It's in all these wires you can see. It is moving in those wires. No, I can't see anything. It is avyakta. Of course, electricity cannot be seen, but electricity can be seen through a bulb, where it lights up a bulb, through a fan, where it rotates a fan, through a mixie, where it mixes whatever stuff you want, through a fridge which keeps everything cool in it. That same electricity, it is Vyakta. Avyakta electricity becomes Vyakta through materials or Padartha, Dravya. So now when you see any Dravya, make it an Yagna. Now linka whatever we have studied in the past, your sense organs, organs of action, your pranas. Now any material which you see is the Avyakta Paramatma in a Vyakta form. That is the funda what we need to get over here. That physical form which you are seeing is what you have to appreciate. The Lord cannot be seen in other ways. So now it is being visible to us. Now just like that plate is used by us to have our meal, after which what? We wash the plate and keep it aside. Same way as one has to use the physical form of the Lord till he or she assimilates the essence of the Lord. Now this is also there. You should not get only stuck in that. Till we get associated, and then slowly we have to transcend from the physical form to the formless. If you are only stuck in that physical form, that is also you are not going to progress. When you are doing an abhishek to a Lord, or worship to a Lord, or puja, all the five senses are involved. Okay. Now slowly you move from that. You elevate yourself to the next level, where you do japa. You start taking you take a japamala, you close your eyes, and you're only using your sense of touch. Five senses. What are you using now? You're using only the sense of touch and your mind. With this, you are taking the name of the Lord, and slowly after that you elevate yourself to only dhyana, where there is a thought, savikara, with the thought, with the image of that Lord which you were seeing in front of you in closed eyes. You have captured that image in your mind, and savikalpa samadhi, you are with that thought, you are meditating on that Lord, and after a while you drop that thought as well. Nirvikalpa, you are established in that pure consciousness. This is the state. Now doing with the five senses is like riding a wheel cycle, tricycle. A small child also, 1 year, 2 years child will also ride that. No great deal. But first you have to practice that. Then the child, as it grows, it will say, no papa, no mommy, I want a two-wheeler now. Bicycle. It goes to that stage where one wheel is gone, meaning you have only two, mind and the sense of touch, because you're using your japamala. You're doing jap. And then if you want to show yourself as an expert, which is very difficult, one wheel cycle, which is where you're only with your mind. This is how the elevation happens in your path of spirituality. Slowly you have to move. Don't get stuck with that alone. Come to the mantra, the jap, and from the jap, if you are dedicating say 5 hours for jap, make that a little less and dedicate yourself more for the dhyana. In dhyana, savikalpa and nirvikalpa. Once a Swamiji was narrating us a story. He said in the Himalayas there was one sage, and a very well-known sage, where very limited people had access to that sage. This sage was known for doing great puja with lot of devotion, with the real sense of bhakti. So somebody who got to know about him finds a way to his place, and he is observing doing the puja, aradhana, abhisheka. Now this Swamiji goes to that place and he sees that yogi starts the puja at about 5:30 in the morning, and he is worshipping Lord Shiva. He has the lingam in front of him. First he did an abhishek, then he properly wiped the lingam, then he did alankara by applying the chandan, then bhasma, then offered flowers, did the dhupa, deepa, naivedya, and then he sits in a state of meditation. As he sits in a state of meditation, what he does is, he slowly starts taking the flowers from the Shivalingam and he starts putting on his head. One after the other is putting on his head. He is taking the bhasma which is applied on the Shivalingam and he is applying on his head. After the puja was over, he gets up from the puja, and then this Swamiji asks that yogi. He said, what is this, Yogi-ji? You started with puja for Lord Shiva on that lingam, and then slowly you started transferring all what you had offered on the lingam to your body. So then the yogi sadhu Maharaji says, see, I started my puja with the Dvaita Bhava. Dvaita means I am a devotee and the Lord is my Parama Aradhya Shakti. I started in this way, and then gradually as I went into meditation, from the Avyakta from the Vyakta I went to Avyakta slowly. I became Advaita, transcended from the Dvaita Bhava to the Advaita Bhava. Now, how can I be different from the Lord who is in front of me? He is in me also. He is everywhere. Shivoham, Shivoham. So in that Bhakti Bhava from Dvaita to Jnana, Advaita. Now we are all practicing Jnana as well. So far we have, from our childhood, we were practicing Bhakti Bhava, Lord and devotee. Now with this Jnana we know that the Lord is none other than me. So is one to relate to someone, we need a form. Can we love or hate someone or an object also without a form? So everything has a form. But at the back of it, what we need to understand is it is a material which is by the Lord, created by the Lord and Lord alone. So we have to treat everything just like we treat ourselves, where we are also made up of material. See how much deep understanding this comes to. Dravya Yajna. Otherwise, normally Dravya Yajna, what it is told? It is told as money. Perfect. That is also great. What it means here? Money is where you do charity. Whatever you can, you do charity. But this concept of having this bhava, what we are talking about, this bhava of material, seeing Lord in every material, that is what is told us over here. So otherwise all austerities, everything come in this Dravya Yajna. Now I think we only completed one, and earlier 1, 2. Okay, we'll try to go slowly, but understand the concept and start practicing. This is some great wisdom what we have got now, and this wisdom we should not just allow it to go for a toss. Again and again think of it. So now whatever we do becomes a yajna in life, because now we know anything we do, we are doing with this 15 organs of sense, organs of action, and organs of prana. So this is the gateway to our entire life. Now has to pass through the path of yajna. So how to divinize our life? So the one who does in this way is not a ordinary typical grahasta or an ordinary person. He becomes a yati. That is what Lord Krishna promises us over here. Shri Krishna Arpanastu. Idam Namo. Now we'll study two divine names, Varadaha, Vayuvahanaha. Shri Vishnu Sahasranama Shloka 16. Sorry, 36. First, let's read the verse. Skanda skandadaro duryo varado vayuvahanaha Vasudevo Brihadbanurādideva Purandaraha. Varadaha 330. One who blesses all true devotees and fulfills their request for boons. It can also mean one who gives the best in life to those who seek him with perfect detachment and sharpened discrimination. Varadaha, basically the bestower of boons. 331. Vayuvahanaha, the one who controls, regulates and moves the great winds. In Sanskrit literature, the movement of air in the atmosphere has been classified under 7 types, and they are called the Saptamarutaha. And what are the Saptamarutaha? Avahan, Pravahan, Vivahan, Paramavahan, Udvahan, Samvahan, and Parivahan. These are the seven Saptamarutha. In short, the inconceivable might and power of the winds and their life sustaining abilities are all lent out to the air by his own magnificence, and therefore he is called as Vayu Vahanaha. To such a Lord who is Varadaha and Vayu Vahanaha, we offer our humble salutations and seek his grace, mercy, and blessings. Now let's chant the Dhanvantari mantra. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। We offer our humble salutations to Lord Dhanvantari. We seek his grace and blessings to give us the requisite amount of health and energy till we have the unique experience, the divine experience of the Almighty within ourselves. We seek Lord Dhanvantari's grace and blessings. Om Tat Sat. Now remember, now after we have learnt today's secret, we are all doing a yajna. It's no more listening to something, it's a yajna. So this concept and word of yajna should keep coming in front of you at every point of time during the day till you go to bed. Now let's do the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana Savikalpa Samadhi with thought, meaning we are observing our mind as a Sakshi. Please make yourself comfortable wherever you are seated. If you need to get up and make yourself comfortable, do that. Sit firmly and erect in a relaxed position. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Although your back and spine is erect, but your body is completely relaxed. Your eyes are gently closed. Your eyelids are placed one above the other, just like two soft petals are sitting one above the other. Ensure there is a smile on your face. Your forehead is relaxed. Let's take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Every act of breathing becomes a yajna. Now let's observe our mind as a witness. Observe the thoughts that come into your mind. Without being judgmental, without saying this is a good thought, this is a bad thought. Why did this thought come again? No questions asked. Just observe the thought. And see the thought for yourself vanishing away. This act of observation of the thought in your mind becomes an yajna. The mind is calm and serene. Hardly any thoughts are coming into my mind. Simultaneously keep observing your breath. Remember, you are a witness of the mind and the thoughts which cross the mind. Shift your mind from watching the thoughts to observing your breath. Now bring your attention to your breath. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। Become aware of yourself. Become aware of where you are seated. Slowly rub your palm. Open your eyes gently and lovingly. Together, we offer today's Gita Jnana Yagna at the lotus feet of the Lord. Naham karta hari karta hari preranaya hari prityartham. We seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam namama. Om Tatsat.
Battery 80%. Connected to Nival's Surgery.